We have some information here from the internet. The first company, as I told you, who started providing the cloud services is our favorite Amazon company, which also delivers food and everything else what we shop these days, right? It was founded in year 2006, and AWS started basically with the compute and storage options only at the beginning. So that was the start of the cloud computing, where they were giving virtual machines. And again, it's just important to remember that virtual machine or virtual server on the cloud, there are different terminologies every cloud provider uses. So on Azure, it is called a virtual machine, which is simply a server, virtual server, which you build on Azure. In AWS, it is called EC2 instance. Okay, so that's the Elastic Compute Cloud, which they call it, and storage as a S3 service. So this concept started here, as a pay per use model, wherein you don't need to own your hardware, and you just because the servers. And if you talk about 2006, if you're talking about the server, buying a server, it's around a simple one-use server with the bare minimum hardware would definitely cost you something around $5,000. So not everyone can invest in that and bear that expense. So it's the idea started with the developers, wherein they needed the environment to develop, test their applications, and it required compute and the storage. So Amazon took that business opportunity, and they pioneered in providing these services on the cloud. Okay, so when did Microsoft start their business in cloud computing? Traditionally, we know that Microsoft is there in the market from very long time. They started their operating system from Windows 3.0, Windows 95, and then now we are having a Windows Server 2025 version. So they are into the software market from long time, but in cloud computing they came in around 2010, and they started offering the service on the cloud, the compute services on the cloud, by the name Microsoft Azure, and it started as Windows Azure on the cloud. So what was the goal? Again, provide infrastructure, app hosting, and later full SaaS offerings. And what does SaaS means here? SaaS. We'll be discussing that later. And if you don't mind, guys, I'll just take a pause for 2 minutes. There's a call for prayer, and we'll continue after that. The beginning, we are having all those topics covered as well. So maybe we can have a session at the end. We can have a Q&A session where we can interact with each other and understand what have you got from this session. What did you understand about the cloud computing? So as you said, I'm just sharing a simple image of a cabinet wherein there are servers, storage, UPS, all the network equipments. So data center in a nutshell could be a single rack like this, a cabinet which is hosted within the company. Okay, or it can be multiple of racks with too many servers and storage and everything, and then you also worry about cabling, cooling, and everything, physical security of this data centers as well. So simple data center to the cloud. So now, why this concept of cloud computing came into being? Uh, because not everyone, the IT, when IT got expensive and it was getting out of control, and that is one of the reasons why companies started looking into the cloud, right? Companies started looking at IT as a cost center, wherein they are just pouring in money and getting very little benefit of it. So the cloud computing companies, they took an advantage of this, and they started offering compute as a service, wherein businesses have the choice of, instead of maintaining this whole big room of servers with wiring, cooling, and everything, to just consuming the services. So that's where the cloud started coming in, and winning the business, taking over the small to medium data centers. So that was really a breakthrough. So yes, we'll keep these sessions, the question and answer session at the end. I'm sure by then everyone will understand what the cloud computing is and why companies are choosing to go towards cloud computing. I'm just giving a brief history of the cloud here, where the cloud started, how the cloud started, the term the cloud which we have looked at right now. Okay, at this point, and who started this cloud services, offering the cloud services, and now we have multiple players in the market. We have Azure, AWS, and Google as well, and many more. So I'm just giving the history. Then we have all those things which you're discussing. We are going to cover all of that. All right. Here another fun fact. We had if we have anyone here using Yahoo email service in 1990s. So why Yahoo Mail was technically Yahoo basically was a cloud service, right? But it was not called a cloud. So cloud, we are seeing the cloud was invented in 2006 when Amazon came into the being and started offering the services. But if you look at it, Yahoo, there was an email service, Yahoo service, which was free of cost. Which in the early days of internet we started using it as a mail. It was basically it is a kind of service, right, which is free of cost, available for everyone, wherein you don't worry about anything going in the background, or how this mail service is running, how where it is hosted, and who is maintaining it. So we started using this service, the cloud services, back in 1990s with Yahoo and Hotmail. Yeah. So practically that's where the cloud computing started and coming into being. But it was never called as a cloud because it was not an offering to the commercial businesses. It was just a pure service, which was an online service, web-based service for end users to consume. So it's just a fun fact, and it's just a fact. I'm just sharing the information what I thought would be useful for you to understand this cloud thing. Why should I learn cloud? Now uh, we are here to understand and learn the cloud technology. And why are we learning the cloud? Uh, Almost all of us are from the IT background, and we have experience from different domains. We have years of experience. Now, why is it needed that we should be learning the cloud? Because if you look at here, the cloud economy, a global shift, is cloud computing is one of the major economies in the world now. So it is projected to exceed 1 trillion by 2030. So every industry from finance, healthcare, retail, you name it, they are all moving towards the cloud. They use one or the other form of the cloud. We'll see what are the different types of clouds available and offerings and the services available in the next slides. I'm just sharing this so that here we have some students as well. So they should realize why it is important to learn the cloud. And I say it, if you're in the technology, if you're into the IT, no matter which domain you work in, whether you're a network engineer or a system admin or a security SOC analyst, it's it's very important and definite to learn the cloud technology, understand the cloud technology, because one or the other day you're going to interact with it and deal with it and manage it. So if you know from now what is cloud, and you'll have a you can decide if you want to even change your career path, you can do so, because there's a good hope that that the cloud is going to last for long, for now, as of now. What do you see? So again, if you see the projection, this is all done by the research companies. They project that by 2030, cloud economy will multiply, and that's the figure. So it's always good to learn. This technology is going to last for a long time, and the need skill is the need. skills in high demand. The cloud computing skills are in high demand. Whatever role you want to take up in the cloud, if you are a software developer, there's a big opportunity in the cloud for DevOps roles. Even if you're a system admin or the network admin, because as you see, it is very important to understand why the companies are moving towards the cloud, and if they move toward the clouds, if you're working in a small and medium business, medium companies, today or tomorrow they are definitely going to move to the cloud and adopt the cloud services and the technologies. So the knowledge of cloud assures you that you don't get redundant in your career, and you stay competent. Okay, cloud is again the foundation of digital transformation. You see that every day now, right? You have apps for everything. Where are those apps running? They're not hosted in some mystical, location in the internet. They're all running on the cloud. All these applications which you use on your Android phones or Apple phones or wherever, all those applications are hosted somewhere. They are running on the cloud, some or the other cloud. Some companies, they have built their own cloud services. They are running their application on their own cloud, or they are hiring the resource from other cloud computing providers. Right. So that's why you should be learning the cloud. Uh, Not if you don't want to do it here in the bootcamp, but still I encourage you that you continue learning from wherever you want to learn. Right. So that ends our second presentation. The next thing what we need to understand and learn is the different types of cloud models and the service models. Now, going forward, it's really important to understand and remember the terminology which we are using here, because if you're planning or attempting to write the exam or give take certification from Microsoft, it really matters. Now, in your terminology or your interpretation, cloud, you can explain cloud in many different ways. You and me, I can explain it in 100 different ways what the cloud computing is. When it comes to the examination certification, it is important that you remember the terminology and the words which Microsoft refers those services as. Right? I hope that that is clear what I've mentioned. So again, the terminology might be slightly different in other cloud service providers like AWS and Google, but they are there are the services. The fundamental service model is the same. So you understand the concept and the fundamentals, then you can map the services from one cloud provider to the other one. For example, as I gave you the example of virtual machine, creating a virtual server on the cloud in Azure environment. In Azure, in Microsoft Azure, in their terminology, it is called a virtual machine in very simple terms. When it comes to AWS, they call it as EC2 instance. EC2 instance is nothing but a virtual machine or virtual server which you're building in the cloud, right? Any questions here so far? Guys, the question is, the floor is open. Uh, if you have any doubts, if you don't have any doubts, we'll continue. But this is where now we are starting the real uh, uh, course from Microsoft, because I'm going to refer and use all the terminologies and the wordings what Microsoft uses for their services in the cloud. Right? Is everyone okay? I just want to get a okay from everyone so that we continue. Are you guys talking? Is it again a problem from my side that I can't hear you?
No, no, it's very clear actually.
Right. That's what I just wanted to get that okay so that it's not that just me talking to myself. because
Yeah,
I
actually it is very clear than before actually. Now I can see very clear and cluster clear something.
right.
Before it was maybe glitches, but now it is very clear.
Okay, perfect. That's really good to hear. So let's
Maksud,
continue. Yes.
Maksud bhai, there is a question in the chat from Junaid. He's asking, what is a pipeline means in cloud?
Where's the question? Sorry, I didn't see the chat. That's okay. Okay, perfect. And the recording is on, and we'll begin. All right, we are here now. Understanding, we understood what is cloud computing, how it started, and who pioneered in cloud services, and why cloud is moving forward and making a $1 trillion economy in by 2030. So let's focus, or let's continue with our boot camp. Now we are getting into the course contents, which are basically from Microsoft. This contains the terminology what Microsoft uses for their cloud computing services. So here on, I will be using the same terminology because that will help you in clearing of the exams, certification exams, right? So it is important that you remember and understand that. So I'll give you the general for every uh, concept. I will give you the general overview, and we'll use the whiteboards as well for explanation, and clarification. So here we are at types of clouds. There are types of clouds in cloud computing. There are two main classifications. Deployment model. Okay, deployment model explains where the cloud is deployed, whether it is a public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, or multi-cloud. And there's a service model. So I prefer now, before moving on to these concepts and terminologies, I prefer to use whiteboard here to, to have everyone on the same page, understand what are these models, and just a high level so that you quickly get clarity on what we are referring to and what we are talking about. Okay, I guess I need to share another screen uh, where I have the touch option available. I'm sharing the other screen now, and I have the whiteboard. Can you see the whiteboard?
No, it's a window, just a window, no whiteboard.
Okay, now I guess you can see the whiteboard now, and I'm writing something.
Yes, no. Yes, yes. Where?
You're not able to
No, no,
see?
yeah, now it's in.
So this is the whiteboard. And as I said, I love whiteboarding, which is very easy way to understand and learn. I'll just give me a minute here. Adjust my screen to write on it. Okay, we understood what is the data center, right? Let me draw a simple block diagram, which I'll refer it to as the office building. Okay, excuse me for my writing. Now everyone, I guess everyone forgot how to write because we're all on keyboards and phone pads, touch screen. So this is just imagine this is a office building wherein I'm talking about the traditional data center, wherein I have a space which I call it as a data center or a server room. This is what you will see in traditional IT departments. So what does it contain? A data center, it might have servers, bunch of servers, right? Storage devices. You'll have network devices. You might also have some sort of firewall for protection. You might have proxy server for internet access, and so on, right? This might be there might be a couple of racks, cabinets, which we call. And I know I guess you know what the cabinet is. And I'm especially referring here to the freshers who are there in this training at the Sham and Junaid. So I'll bring up the image side by side so you can visualize it because they might not have seen what it really looks like. Okay, so this is something called cabinet. Okay, or we also call it as a rack, right? Wherein we store all this, mount all these devices, server, storage, network devices, and so on. So this, if it is a very small office, a very small setup, it might be just called as a server room. It might not qualify as a data center as such, because when you call it as a data center, you might have more than what we have here. So a data center might require much more equipment and components. So let's say this is a data center itself. I have a bigger office. This is my office building. Guys, I'm just doing this all for you to clarify and understand and clarify the concept of different types of clouds. This will definitely give you a clear picture on what we are talking about and what are the different type of cloud models we have. So then let's say this is a data center on one of the floor, ground floor, let's say, and we have a multi-story building, first floor, second floor, and so on. So if you have a bigger IT requirement, you might be running a dedicated room or a floor for a data center, wherein you have multiple cabinets, tab one, tab two, and you might be having multiple devices in there, right? Servers, storage, network devices, and so on. And you might also have an access to the internet world, right? So this is your internet cloud. So this is where the name cloud came from this cloud icon which we are drawing here on the diagram. So this qualifies as a data center. Now it's not just about the servers, storage, and the cabinets and the network devices and equipment and the cabling. This also accounts for physical access control, right? Because this becomes your critical asset of your organization. So you need to control access to it, and you might have to also make sure that your HVAC is functioning, heat ventilation and air conditioning. That's what HVAC is called, all as, and you will have to maintain all of that and make sure that your electricity supply is highly available. Forgive me for my writing, okay? So this is a traditional data center. I hope everyone is clear and know what data center is now. So when I said, especially for the freshers, we started from something called server room. We have a small office, we have a small requirement, IT requirement, IT footprint, wherein one cabinet with a couple of servers, storage, and network would be enough for us. But when the organization grows or you have a bigger organization, you might go from server room to something like data center. So this is what, and you can search online yourself. You might get thousands of images of the data centers, exactly inside how it looks like. So you have proper cabinets here with the access control itself. Even on the cabinets, you might have the access control, and you're having the cables running across all these cabinets for the power supply, for the network, and you will also have this room where these cabinets are located, physically controlled. You might have a security guard outside, or you might have a physical access control, biometrics, CCTV cameras, and all of that. So just imagine if your company is doing really good business and they can afford all of this, that really means that they are having so much money. Now, when the company grows, if you take an example of a banking sector, let's say it is a bank. A bank, they have started with the one single office, and tomorrow, in next down the line 2 years, they expand to different locations, different cities, and so on. And they also start offering the online services to their customers. So, can you, when the business is growing, what will happen to these equipments or the data center and the devices which are running in here? This might not be able to suffice the need for the growth and the expansion of the business, right? So, and it is not really straightforward and easy to expand the data center because, eh, considering this, you have a very confined space. You might need additional number of cabinets, additional number of servers, additional basically additional computing power and the storage requirement. So this now puts a burden and shows this becomes a hurdle for your organization to grow. So IT becoming a hurdle, and then you might not be able to achieve all your business goals. So from here on, it went on to the cloud computing. So these are the factors which actually drives companies or organizations to adopt or look into data center cloud computing scenarios and the options. So is this clear? The concept of a single server room to the data center, right? And what all we require to maintain that data center, right? And this is one of the scenario. Now let's say you also have branch offices. When you are having your branch office, now you will have definitely your whole computing is stored centrally on a head office. Let's say this is your head office or headquarters of the bank. Now there are users here. There are people sitting here who need to access the centralized application and so on. So this is again, you have to look into the connectivity of these services, expanding this connectivity to the branch offices. Whatever options you have to explore that. You have to invest in that, and again, you might have to build a small server room here for placing the network equipments and so on. So these are the challenges in the traditional data center model and in the organizations earlier. These were the challenges. So that's about the single data center. Now we got cloud computing in the picture. Now cloud started offering different services. So you can see clearly that the expansion is not so easy. If the business is growing faster than usual, you anticipated something. You size this environment based on the 2 year growth path, and you might end up consuming all of that in 1 year time. It happens all the time in the businesses, right? So when this kind of dynamic growth requirement is, dynamic growth is require which requires dynamic computing power as well. Here we got the concept of cloud computing, which is dynamic in nature, which scales up or scales down. And again, this is just one side effect of having our own data center. The other side effect is, if your business is doing well in the first year and the next year your business goes down completely, then you have overcapacity. You're running your whole data center. You're having multiple servers, cabinets, and you end up paying from your own pocket for all these services, maintaining your own data center, internet services, the electricity, the security services, and so on. I hope, I just want to hear from you. This is clear what I have explained so far. Based on this, you will understand how the cloud computing models are introduced and what fits in the organization requirement. So, are there any other challenges which you see here in this model? I want to hear from you guys. Is anyone speaking?
No challenges. It's requirement. As per the requirement, we can enhance as per this one.
No,
So
the major drawback. What is the major drawback if we hear in this? in the setup, a traditional data center setup.
So maintaining is the drawback.
Maintenance is one of them. Yes, of course, you have
Yes,
to
Maqsood
maintain.
bhai. So the main thing is the capital investment because if you're having a traditional data center, you have to have a capital investment. So if you
Mhm.
want to open a branch office in a different location, you need to buy a land, build up a data center, and then invest in electricity, maintaining all of this. It's a headache. So if you don't want to have a capital investment, then we can go to any of the cloud services provider because ultimately we need the services, right? So we can go to any cloud service provider and we can take the service from there.
Okay.
So I will add one more point here.
Yes.
So this is looks like a private cloud. So we are managing everything. Okay.
Yes.
Since now everything is fine. So when we want to improve our
We are
business, like
just for your information, we are just referring to it as a traditional data center as of now.
uh-huh. Yes.
We have not got into the concept of private cloud and
Okay,
what
okay.
private cloud looks like. So we're
Yes,
just
yes.
talking about a traditional data center, which
Mm-hmm.
has, as I mentioned, as Asif has mentioned, capital expenditure. I'll explain that also in the moment in next
Mm-hmm.
slides, what the capital expenditure is and how we
Okay,
compare
and
to the
so what
yeah.
what are the other challenges we face, Maqsood bhai, is the scale up and scale down. So as you mentioned, like anytime if you want to scale up and scale down with traditional setup, you need to procure the devices, you need to procure the resources. So it's costly and also the time consuming. So if you are
Yes.
on the cloud, it's as per you use. So whatever you use. So maybe if you are using some of the web services, like you are running a restaurant business, so website is hosted there. So at time of festival, maybe you need to have the scale up your resources. So you are using the more resources, and maybe at the time of the holidays, or maybe you're not utilizing those services. So why we have to pay for the services which you're not using, right? So scaling up and scaling down is easy when it comes to the cloud, whereas traditional, once you buy it there. And also if you need to increase up, then you will have to wait for the procurement. You have to go to the process, so it's time consuming.
Right. Those are the very valid points. Yes.
Apart from that, if you are traditionally, if you are hosting a data center, then you need to bear extra cost for maintenance. And for the security wise, if
Exactly.
what you have
Exactly. See,
mentioned, say,
exactly that's the reason I've mentioned all those components which are required to run the data center. Right.
yes. And for the security perspective, we are running a multi-layered security. So, I mean, data center, obviously, we are managing because we don't want anyone to intrude, break into, disrupt the cable or devices, power on or power off anything. So, but before that, first your perimeter will be secured. For that, you will have to have your CCTV camera installed, right? So, any data center, if you take, they will have 6 or 7 layer of security, the physical security, I mean, the perimeter, and then where you go to the entrance, where you do the swapping of your part, right? So even those you need to install the machines, and then for the data center you will have
That's
the
that.
biometrics, yeah, and then your
Exactly.
cabins,
That comes
yeah,
falls under the physical access control.
yes.
So physical access control, you have to make sure that your data center is monitored 24/7. You have to make sure that the entry control is restricted. You have authorized people who can enter and exit, and you have to make sure that your HVAC is stable, heat ventilation, and air conditioning of the system. Because anything going wrong on that part as well, it will destroy your data or the equipment which are there in the data center. And you have to also make sure that you have a electricity, which is a big expense for anyone to run this huge data center and maintain. So that is one of the side effect and the drawback. And then the other drawback is that you can't scale down easily. So let's say if you tomorrow, if your business is not doing well and you want to shrink the business, and you want to go on a lean mode and reduce the staff and reduce the computing power, you cannot easily achieve that. You still, even if you remove one of the cabinet, let's say, but you still got to maintain proper electricity, HVAC, physical access, and everything to run one particular cabinet with the server storage and the network equipment, right? So these were the challenges and the drawbacks of traditional data center. Now there is one plus point though. There is an advantage of having our own data center, and I guess Asif can definitely answer and address that. What is that advantage we get with the private cloud? with our data center, traditional data center. I'm sorry, we are not referring to private cloud as of now.
So we can host any of the service, any hardware equipment, any service if you want. Traditional data center, we can host anything. But when it comes to cloud, there are certain dependencies that we need to go through. I'm not sure
Right.
if I answered that.
Data,
So,
I can tell you about data. It will be the control of the data. It will be under us.
Exactly, that's the point. Why
Yeah.
we are running this whole set of compute, storage, network, and everything, and maintaining all of this whole infrastructure. It's all about data, right? It's what the data the company is storing there, and what how important is the data for the company? Because now data has become the real goal of the companies. That's the real goal. That's everything. Data is everything, right? If you're banking, let's say it is a bank which is running their own data center, and the whole data center is down, what will happen? They will end up losing customers. The bank might go bankrupt completely. So data is something which is really important. And again, so that's one of the advantage of having your data on your own systems and maintaining the security of the data. Here you can make sure that your data is secure in your own environment, and no one else from the outside have access to it. You can physically control it. Logical controls, you can put in logical controls as well. So data security is one of the this was one of the reason many companies were hesitant in going to the cloud for the sake of data security, because the moment you go on the cloud, your data is out of your control, right? Though there are many security measures and controls in place in the cloud to make sure that your data is safe and secure, but still, the moment your data is on the cloud, that means it is available to the whole world. And if anyone cracks into it, that's it. We have seen news day in and day out of hacking and data stealing and data exfiltration and data exposing. Correct? So that was one of the reasons why many customers, there are still organizations and industries who maintain their own data centers for this particular reason. So you should also understand that and remember that, right? And governments have also made some certain regulations that if you're in such and such industry, for example, a bank, you have to maintain your own data. You have to make sure that your data is secure, and it's the integrity is maintained of the data. Clear? I hope this is clear. We can move on to the next uh, discussion. So, starting from the bottom line, server room to the data center, and the challenges and the drawbacks and the advantages as well, the benefits of having your own data center. Now we can actually discuss the cloud models. Hang on a second. Okay, is my screen visible again?
Yes.
yes.
Okay, so I'm bringing up the slide here, wherein we are talking about different models of cloud deployment models. So now we got something called public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, and the multi-cloud scenarios. So let's start with the public cloud. What is a public cloud? Can anyone give me the definition of public cloud?
Microsoft Azure, AWS, GCP, these are all public clouds.
Yes, those are the vendors who are providing the public clouds. I'm asking for the definition of what is public cloud.
Which is managed by someone else, some
Public
service
cloud. Hmm.
providers.
Yes. Any more answers?
Okay, we have the resources shared here in the public cloud.
Shared
So,
resources. That's one of
yeah,
the concept of public cloud,
yeah.
right?
So all the services like storage, computing power, application, So this is provided over the internet by any third party. That is a
Exactly.
public cloud where the resources are shared.
Okay. Yes. So I hope everyone heard that and they are clear. I might be having a question answer Q and A session going around everyone to just see what they have understood from our session. So I want everyone to participate as much as possible. If you have any challenges, then you're definitely excused. But it is good if you participate. It will be your learning and your understanding will be enforced, and you will remember this for the long time. So public cloud is a type of cloud computing model where computing resources are delivered over the internet, right? Owned and managed by a third party. In a simple term. So I'll just draw and again explain you. Then I'll come back to the question and answers. So let's say this is a data center, and I have multiple cabinets with multiple devices, and I have a complete data center infrastructure with me. Okay, so now this again depends on your purpose. Why you're building this data center? Either you building it for your own the organization for your own company to consume the compute services, or you're building it for the public. So if you are building it for the public, we have the players like AWS, Azure. These are just the big names I'm saying, right? There are many more cloud providers in the market nowadays. It's not just limited to Azure, AWS, and Google. Correct. So
You
I've
can
built
add more. You can add Moro. Moro is the number one service
yeah,
cloud
exactly.
provider in
Moro,
UAE.
Moro is also a cloud provider now for UAE region particularly, but they're also expanding, I guess. So it's again a data center, right? Which runs all of that which we have seen in the traditional data center. Now, what is the difference between the data center and this? Why when it becomes a cloud? When do we say that it is a cloud? When you start offering these services to the public, you have your own platform. Now you build your platform. For example, Moro as a cloud, Moro Cloud, wherein users, the end users, I'm an end user. I have my laptop. I have nothing more than that. Okay, so I need compute resource for my business. I'm starting a new business. I need to launch an application or a website or whatever it is. Just for that, I just don't want to host the whole data center and maintain and manage it in on my own office in my own office or the building. I'm looking for compute services. So what do I want to do? I need you should first of all the user should know what they need. So let's say I need one server. I need, let's say, 3 TB of storage capacity, and I need, for example, uh, internet access. So all of these are now available as a service from the service providers, the cloud service providers. So when you are offering these services, the compute, the network, and the storage with high availability and high security, right? This becomes a cloud service provider. You become a cloud service provider, and you will be a public cloud service provider because you're offering the services to the end users, to anyone in the globe who is purchases or buys services from you, right? So this is a simple definition of public cloud. It is open to everyone. Now, when you talk about public cloud, there's a concept of something called tenant. We know what is a tenant, right? In general terminology, when you rent an apartment or a house, you are called as a tenant because you're renting something. You're not owning that particular property or building. Is that clear? So I become a tenant, and I'm actually renting these particular services from that service provider. So this is in essence a public cloud service wherein you're running your data center. It's nothing but a data center, but your services are exposed to the internet, and you're managing, providing these compute services to your customers with high availability and in a secure manner. And it is also mandatory for you when you call yourself as a public cloud service provider. You have to maintain the strict regulations for tenant security. So you might be having 100 tenants on your public cloud, right? So you have to maintain and make sure that your tenants security is intact. Yeah, nobody, the data which one tenant is, the compute power and the data which one tenant is using is not exposed to other tenants. So there's a concept of tenants. You will understand it more when we are moving forward. Okay, I hope this defines what public cloud is, and if you are okay, we can carry on to the next one. I just need an okay from you guys.
It's okay.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Uh,
Okay.
so how can you differentiate between a single tenant and multi-tenant?
This is single tenant, multi-tenant. I have drawn two different tenants, right? So what is? I didn't get your question actually.
How do you differentiate single tenant and multi-tenant? You are saying multi-tenant and single tenant. So what is the difference?
If you have multiple tenants, it is a multi-tenant, right? Or you have a better answer for that?
Customers, multiple
Multiple
customers.
customers.
Yes.
So okay, you can continue. Actually.
Clear? Yes. If see,
Sorry, you can
here.
continue. I have a disturbance from my side. You can continue.
Okay, fine. So in the cloud terminology, when you say multi-tenant cloud, that means you're providing services to the multiple customers. So a customer itself is called as a tenant in the cloud terminology, right? So now the next one, what we want to discuss is that is the public cloud, which we have discussed. Now there's a concept of private cloud. Now, what is a private cloud? Can anyone give a simple definition of private cloud? You can do Google. You can do take a help from ChatGPT. I don't mind, but I want you to understand what it is.
Based on my experience, private cloud is the one which we can manage everything. So privately. So it's not for publics, not for the customers. It is used for our own purpose. So it is managed privately and
Exactly, simple,
yes.
simple as that. It's a computing model which is dedicated for a single organization, and there's no multi-tenant concept in the private cloud. So you're not hosting multiple customers here. You're building or providing the compute services to your own organization. I will give you an example of that. I used to work for a company called Future Pipe Industries, and they had a central data center, right? And they had many branches, uh, USA, Europe, Asia, and many more. So now, again, you need to understand something very important here. The difference between the data center, traditional data center, because the traditional data center is also dedicated for a particular organization, right? And the private cloud is also dedicated for a particular organization. Now, what is the major difference? Why can't we call a data center itself as a private cloud? Because there are certain characteristics of private cloud. When you call it as a cloud, there are certain features which makes it, uh, you know, which makes it possible to call it as a cloud, private cloud. So before the cloud, I will tell you. Uh, okay, let's talk about the cloud. So I'm building this capacity centrally in my data center with multiple cabinets and multiple servers and storage and everything. And I have the branch offices. Now, these branch offices, what I have are they also need the compute and storage and everything for their application and their IT usage. So I can similarly as in the public cloud, I'm renting the resources, the compute resources to the public customers, right? Here in the private cloud, I will build a data center. You might be having the headquarters and the central organization. So in the example of this, uh, in my company, my experience, I used to work for a company called Future Prime Industries. They had their head office here in Dubai, and they had their own data center, completely owned and managed by the organization. But they had this remote businesses, which we used to call it as business unit, business unit. Now they also needed the compute, the IT infrastructure. So either they have two options. These business units, they have two options. Either go by their own, have their own data center locally, or a small server room and the whole setup, right? That's their option, right? Or they consume the services from the centralized data center. So what would be beneficial in this scenario? For example, if it is the same organization, it makes no sense for them to have their own local data centers and have the whole data center headache inherited with it. Correct. So as an organization head, I would establish a data center. I would have the central team building and maintaining this data center with all the features which data center requires, and plus on top of that, I will have the features, the cloud features, which are basically for renting out the services, the compute services. So I will provide the compute resources to my business units. I'll give them servers, virtual servers. I'll give them storage. I'll give them network. I'll give them security, all through the centralized location. Okay, and I charge them. I charge them on the usage, right? This really defines why a traditional data center is called as a private cloud. Because in a traditional data center, you don't have this concept of providing the services based on the need and billing and charging your own organization internal departments. In the private cloud, the application which you use to build the private cloud, it gives you these features of providing compute on demand. I hope that is clear to you. So if this business unit requires one server, they'll just take one server. They need 1 TB of storage. They'll take 1 TB of storage, and they'll be billed and charged based on that. Is that clear? So here we are not having external customers. We are having our own organization business units in different locations who need the compute power, and they are renting it from your central department, which is the IT department, which is your headquarters. Is that clear? The private cloud. Guys, is anyone available for the
Yes,
session?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's a pin drop silence, so I thought you all slept or disappeared.
No, it's very interesting. So we are
Okay,
concentrating on.
You
I
are
hope so.
explaining it. You are explaining it well. People don't have any question. So
Really, and that's
Yes,
really nice to hear. I
that
hope
is what I understand. I don't know why others have to speak.
no, be positive. I'm hoping the same. I hope people understand what
and
I'm explaining.
and Maksud bhai, can you take Moro also like because we also have the cloud, private
Hmm.
cloud.
Mhm.
Example is the best example you can take for
We
Moro
don't have a
also.
Moro. We don't have a private cloud in Moro. Where's the
Okay,
private cloud? Do we have a
Mm.
private cloud model?
data
No.
center.
We don't have. We are just providing the cloud services to the external customers.
Okay.
Yeah. So Diva is a customer for Moro. They have a tenant created for Moro. Sorry, Diva on Moro Cloud. So it's
Yes.
a complete public cloud model what Moro is running.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see there's one more available in that. So public cloud, private cloud, and then we have something called hybrid cloud. This is what you can say we have in Moro and Diva. Okay, before yeah, let's cover this one, then we'll move on. Hybrid cloud. So I would request again anyone if you can give me the definition of it.
So hybrid is a split. You are taking some service from on-premises, traditional, some services you are taking from the cloud.
Right.
So Diva is an example, like if you are running a traditional data center, so as you mentioned, data is very critical, right? Data is part, so your company is not okay to for a data to go outside the country. So if you are taking cloud services from Azure, from AWS, so there will be a copy of the data in the cloud, which where the data center is in a different location, is a different outside of a country jurisdiction, right?
Right.
So your company doesn't want data to go out, and at the same time you want to use certain cloud services. So we have no option but to go with the hybrid model because you have to use certain cloud services and your company is not okay for you to take the data outside. So somewhere in between you can run on a hybrid environment.
Exactly. That's
Here,
really what it
I will
is.
just interrupt here. So,
Yeah.
the taking Deva as a hybrid cloud. So, Deva is a customer, Moro is a provider. So, here it's not a hybrid. Deva don't have, Moro has the cloud. Okay.
No,
And Deva is a customer.
Ahmed, Diva. We are not talking about the relation between Moro
Yeah.
and Diva here, because when you talk about Moro and Diva, particularly, Moro is providing a cloud service,
Yes.
public cloud service, and Diva is consuming that public cloud service. That's
Yes.
one side of the story.
But
The other side of
where
the
is the
story is
hybrid here?
Diva. Yeah, I'm coming to that. The other side of the story is Diva is also consuming services from Azure and AWS directly. There's no Moro involvement here.
Okay.
Understand? So that then it becomes a hybrid cloud, for example. So let's go with that.
Okay.
This is our Diva. I'm talking about particularly Diva as a data center. They have their own data centers. They have their own cabinets and the servers. You just understand what I'm drawing. I'm just doing this for the explanation. Now, Diva has to have a perfect hybrid cloud environment. So they have they are taking services from Moro. This is a cloud provider, right? They are taking using consuming services from Azure. They're also consuming services from AWS. This is how it is. So some of their workloads are here running in Moro data center servers. Some of their services and servers are running here, and some of the servers and services are running here, and many servers and services running locally as well. Got my idea?
Okay. Yes.
Yes. So Diva has a perfect hybrid cloud environment. So you can't call it as a purely public cloud. What Diva is using, it's not a purely private cloud, and it's a mix of both private and public cloud. So they are providing the services from their data centers, their own data center, as well as they are consuming the services from multiple cloud providers. So we have the connectivity established, which is a IPsec connectivity for the security between the cloud provider and the customer. So this is the perfect hybrid cloud model. Is that clear? Now, why they're doing this? Why can't they have their own run their services which they are running on Azure or AWS? There are certain applications which are cloud native applications, which are called cloud native applications. They are built uh, cloud purpose. They are cloud purpose built, and they can run only in the cloud environment because it requires certain specific components in the cloud. So having or building all that capability in the traditional data center or on-prem data center. Now there's a concept of on-prem also comes in here. So you should also understand on-premises. We call it on-prem data center. Okay. In short, this is a term called on-prem data center. That means that's the customer's data center. So these are again terms. There's a different terminology as I said to you. So you should also remember the terminology going forward. So when I say on-prem, where is your server? When a consultant comes in and asks you, let's say you are a customer, you're Diva. So they might ask you where do you want to run your service or the server for a certain application. Either you want to run it on-prem, that means in your own data center, or in the cloud. Understand what I'm saying?
What do you say then? What is
Sorry.
your answer? Here, what is the answer?
It really depends on the application which you're hosting, right? Now, if that
Yeah.
application which I'm going to run, it is only required to run to provide service to the internal Diva users. Okay, let's say I'm just a user. I need that application
No.
to run only internally. Why would I go for the cloud in that scenario? Right? I don't need it. I don't need to run it on the cloud and make it difficult for the users to access because it whatever you have in the cloud, it becomes it has to go through the internet or through your IP sector. So it really comes down to application what you're running, right? How do you decide that? Business has to decide. Business has to decide if you're running an application which is required. If you're running an application which is required for your users, for example, Diva as a utility company, we are providing Diva is providing water and electricity to the whole Diva, right? Now they want to run an application, a portal, which is accessible to the whole customer base, and they want easy access for everyone. Then it makes sense that you deploy that application on the cloud, on one of the cloud, so that anyone having internet access can easily access it, and it is highly available, right? And it's still maintaining your data, the actual data on-prem, your database. You can run the front-end service here, web application, web or app, whatever you have. You got my point?
Yes.
Yes. So this is one of the reason why you would, go with the hybrid cloud model compared to public cloud or the private cloud. So it really comes down to your IT needs, your business requirement. Everything. See, all of these IT requirements are driven by the business, right? It's not that you as an IT administrator or you as an IT manager go to the business and say that I want to host my servers in the cloud. Business would definitely ask you why would you want to host the servers in the cloud where when we have already invested so much in our own data center. What is the answer you will give? Either you can tell them that yeah, we are going for the cloud because we want to migrate from traditional data center to the cloud completely, or we want to split the workloads and make it less expensive for the company to run, right? This is one other reason. Or you want to say that it's completely we just want to get rid of the whole data center management and IT expenses on prem. So there has to be a reason for that. It's not that the IT guy decides which cloud model we should the business should go for and which one fits the business. It's driven by business. It's driven by the requirement of the company. Is that clear?
If you don't mind, can I ask one question?
Yeah,
Just a basic,
definitely.
I
Why
don't
not?
know. So, as the Diva managing any data center? Like,
Yes.
don't think about Moro. Okay, Moro is
Mm-hmm.
Diva also has.
No, no, Diva. Yeah, there's another concept. I'll tell you now. I'll
Mm,
come to that point. So the cloud model is clear, right?
mm,
Yeah. So now, what Diva has done is Diva has its own data centers also, but they're running some other systems in it. for we are the voice systems for telephony and some systems for the CCTV. They're running those services, but the actual compute, the storage, and the compute power, they are not maintaining any data center as of now by themselves. They have given all of that to Moro. So that's another kind of service. I'll come to that. So now, uh, three different kind of different deployment models we have seen. There's something called co-location, co-location service. What is this co-location service? Let's take an example again, Diva and Moro. Has built their data centers. Okay, Diva had their own data center. I'm just giving the real example of what Diva has done. Let's say this is in the location of Khises. Now, since Moro has the whole data center built with all the facilities, physical security, they have access control. Physical security means everything. It covers CCTV, access control, and all. Security guards, you name it. You have the electricity supply, uninterrupted electricity supply. You have HVAC, heat, ventilation, and air conditioning controls. Everything. They have a perfect data center environment in their place in their data center. Now, Moro as a service provider, we offer multiple options to the customers. We offer co-location. Okay, we offer the cloud services. I think that's all we give. So from out of data center, we give these two kind of services. So co-location. What is co-location? Co-location is just renting the space. It's about renting space, renting the space in data center. You got my point? What I'm saying. So Moro has built rows of cabinets. Let's say this is row one. In row one, you have 32 cabinets. Row two, you have 32 cabinets. Here, 32 cabinets. Here, 32 cabinets. So when there is a requirement, the customer approaches you because now the organizations that they are, if it is a medium, small and medium business, definitely they don't go with having their own server room or a data center established. They look for two of this. Either they go with the cloud service providers, and you have the model hybrid or the public cloud. Then the very famous cloud deployment model for medium businesses is hybrid cloud. Most of the companies go with hybrid cloud and co-location. Now, what happens in the co-location? You are just renting the space. Remember that. And the co-location, you're renting the space and the cabinet. Space and the cabinet. This is the cabinet. This is a data center business. I'm talking about the data center, what services they provide. So, Diva has taken, for example, two cabinets, which they were running some of the servers and having some of the equipment here in this location, Khis's location. So they decided that okay, we don't want to maintain this data center just for these two cabinets. What we'll do is we'll rent the space and the cabinets in Moro data center and move all these devices here. Okay, got my point. So this does not transfer the ownership of these devices, the maintenance and the management of the devices to Moro. Moro is only responsible for this, this, and this. They're not responsible for anything which is running in this cabinet. And the internet. They also provide internet and the network access. Got my point? This is called co-location. So what Diva has done is Diva has taken many rack spaces in the Moro data center for co-location services. So still they are still in the hybrid cloud model. What they have done is they are not maintaining the data center in their own premises. They have moved those in Moro data center premises. But then who's responsible for this? I'm from the team, Diva team. That's famous, right? I handle IT security operations. These are real-time examples I'm giving. So I have my firewalls and network security devices all located in these cabinets. So I'm responsible and I'm accountable for the operations and maintenance of these devices running here. If the firewall goes down, for example, I have a firewall one here. This goes down for some reason. I can't go and complain to Moro service provider, the data center service provider, that why my firewall went down in this cabinet. Correct? Got my point?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Is it is that clear?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes, yes.
Yeah. So this is co-location service. Totally different than what the cloud deployment models are. Okay, guys. Ahmed, does that answer your question?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, good. Right. So this, I thought this was important before running through the slides, because most of the time the slides do not make sense and we just follow it. So I don't like explaining something which none of my audiences or students understand. All right, guys, can we proceed? Move on?
Yes,
Or you have any
Maksud bhai,
questions?
it's okay from my side. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Let's carry on then. I'm sharing my
Masood
screen.
bhai, I have one
Yes,
doubt regarding
yes,
this. I don't know if this related to colocation or
definitely go ahead.
cloud.
See,
And
I've
what is
been
the remote hand service like? Mostly we are receiving requests for from the customer like we want remote hand service.
okay.
Can I
Very good
answer,
question.
Maksud bhai?
Very good question, and it's related to the co-location. Yes, Asif, you are free to answer.
Okay, so Khaja, to answer your question, I hope you understand what is cloud, different models and all that. I hope you understand. So if you see, okay, let me share my screen. I'll try to explain. So Khaja, let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, yes.
Okay, Khaja, assume that you are having a restaurant business. So for your business to run, you need a one website called khaja.com. Okay. So you
Okay.
have this restaurant and the website which is running. So for which you have your own data center. We call it as a traditional data center on premises or whatever. You have your own data center. So for your website to run, what do you need? You need one physical server, right? One physical server, one web server you need.
Yes,
And then on top of that, you have installed antivirus. So you have a small team of 10 members who is maintaining your data center. So you have your own data center. So this website you are running from your own data center, right?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
So tomorrow, if you want to expand your business, so you want to have your presence in UAE. So if you want to have your customer side in UAE, so now if you want to have your IT landscape in UAE, so what you need to do, you need to buy a company, you need to buy a physical land and then build a data center on top of that, right?
Correct.
Instead, what you can do, Moro is one company which is offering data center services in UAE. So you will rent one cabinet from Moro. So you will say, give me one cabinet where I will run my own services. So you need a couple of servers and all that to host your website, right? So you are running your services from where? From Moro, correct? Your
Yes,
website for
yeah.
to serve the UAE customers. So that is nothing but on-premises, sorry, data center co-location. So data center, the services which are offered by Moro, the cabinet, they are giving one rent space to you. That is data center co-location. So on the Moro, on that cabinet, you are running your own services. So you just buy out the cabinet. You rented out the cabinet. Okay. So that is data center co-location. Okay. So now when you take Moro as a data center service provider, so Moro is one of the data centers provider in the UAE region. So you need to see how different is Moro from other data center service providers. So if you see the big player, we have other data center provider like Azure, AWS. And Moro is one of the data center which is giving data center co-location services in UAE. So there are certain services which are offered by Moro. So now if you take examples, SAP, Emirates, they are hosting their data center, their IT landscape in Moro data center. So we have IT landscape for SAP, we have IT landscape for Emirates, we have IT landscape of Huawei. So all these companies, they are hosting their IT landscape in Moro, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So tomorrow, if there is any problem in the data center, in their cabinet, in their IT landscape, I mean in data center, if there is any cable is loosely connected or something happened, so Moro is providing certain services, free services to anyone who is hosting their data center, their IT landscape in Moro data center. So one of the services is remote hands. So what happens? All these customers, the Moro customer, they will call the service desk, which you will receive the call. So you will receive the call and then you will log the details because in the call they will mention the customer details. In the customer details for Emirates Group, for example, you will have the cabinet number allocated. So you will note down all these details like cabinet number and all. And then you will inform our team. Which team? Our, what do you
Data
call?
center, data center.
Not the data center. I mean, facility team. Your facility team is working 24 by 7. So you inform the facility team. So someone from the facility team, they will go and check if cables are properly connected or not. So the first hand support, which is provided by Moro, that is remote hands.
Okay, I got it.
Basically,
Perfect.
Okay.
basically physical assistance which is required in the data center. Because now,
Okay.
if
So
for
from the
example,
operation side, we are not looking anything, only the physical assistance for the
it's all
cabling,
about
for the
physical
power,
assistance.
for
For example,
electricity.
in
Yeah.
some
So
cases, like you have your system which is down, right? Now you don't know what is happening with the system. So you might have the you might have remote hand support who can go into the data center to exact location which you point to him, the cabinet number and the device description. If you give them, they can probably connect a monitor and see what's happening on the screen, right? Or they can have a system which can connect to there's a console also available on the cabinets, right? So remote hand mostly helps you in physical inspections and assistance in the data center in the cabinet. Now
Okay.
we have many customers like that in Moro. You have a customer, let's say for example, who's sitting in Abu Dhabi. Okay, and they by mistake one of the system admin, they just hit the shutdown button on the server. The server is down. Now how do you turn it on? Either you should have a different mechanism of reaching it and turning it on, which most of the servers have the auto band management or ILO management, through which you can turn on the servers as well remotely. If you have that, that's good. Otherwise, you can't physically turn on the server from sitting from Abu Dhabi, right? You will just pick up your phone, call the call center, and get the remote hand support. Ask them to go and so just push that button. That's it. That's the remote hand support.
It's clear now. It's clear now. Thank you.
Right.
okay, so Khaja, apart from the remote hand, there are other services which are offered by Moro as part of data center co-location. So being in NOC, like these things you should be aware, like remote
Asif,
hands is one of,
I think we should. I think Asif, as we have already
yeah,
addressed his concern, let's move on because
yeah.
otherwise we'll be end up talking more or
Okay, just give
catalog.
me 2 minutes. I just wanted to explaining about the hybrid model, just 2 minutes. Okay, so Khaja, I mean, Maksud must have explained you about the hybrid model. So what is hybrid model is like, so you have your website hosted in India, you have your website hosted in UAE, in Moro, that is data center co-location services we have taken, right? So now assuming for your customers, you want to have your own messaging platform. So for messaging platform, you can hire any other messaging platform or else like
Asif, sorry to disturb you. Okay, I think what you could do is you can take one-on-one session with Khaja.
okay,
Don't
fine.
mind, please don't mind because we have many people here who might not be interested in listening what we are talking. So I'm
Okay,
just
Maksud,
sticking
carry
to the
on.
subject and the slides. Nothing to mind, no offense. Okay, Is everyone clear on the concepts what we have discussed so far?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So we talked about different cloud models, which I'm showing here in the slide: public, private, hybrid.
Your screen is gone, Maksud. Can you say
Oh,
it
is it?
again?
Okay, because
Yes.
Asif was sharing it, right? Live.
Yeah, it's
Let
taken
me
over.
share it back. Okay, I'm back on the presentation. So I'm just highlighting what we have covered: public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, and we are now seeing something called multi-cloud model as well. What is multi-cloud? This is again you have already seen here. I've shown you. Sorry, for example, this one. Let me move the screen. You see this? This serves. This shows you both hybrid cloud as well as multi-cloud, because we are having a hybrid cloud as well as we are having a multi-cloud. That means we are consuming Diva as a customer, consuming services from multiple cloud providers. And why would they do so? Why would customer or organization require to go with multiple cloud service providers here? What could be the reason?
Did not fully satisfied more.
And any other answers on that? Any other answers?
Redundancy.
Sorry?
Yes, Maksud. Sorry, I was talking on mute.
No
Okay, so
problem.
instead of relying on one cloud service provider, we can distribute our workload, right? At times, in case if in disaster recovery, backup or anything, we don't want to rely on one cloud
Exactly,
provider.
exactly. See,
Yeah.
that is one of the major reason why an organization might go with multiple cloud providers. There's something called vendor lock-in. Vendor lock-in, that means you're hosting all your services on Azure, and one day Azure just disappears, or Azure does not satisfy your support needs, and you're stuck with Azure with your contract and your terms and conditions. So that's called vendor lock-in. So it is it again depends. It comes down to the business and the applications what they're running, and their budget appetite. If they can distribute their services across multiple cloud and have resiliency and have their services running on different cloud providers, if one cloud provider goes down completely out of the business, bankrupt, they can still have the services running on other cloud service provider. This is one of the reason. And another reason is there are certain applications or certain companies who are offering their services only from a specific cloud provider because they're having a better cost from that service provider, better services or better support. These are the parameters which actually defines why an organization might go for a multi-cloud model. I hope that is clear.
Yeah, it's great. I have one small
Now,
doubt. Can I?
yes, yes, go ahead, please.
So even though Moro has all the services, so why
Hmm.
they go for Azure like AWS,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm
EC2?
coming to that.
Okay,
Yeah.
but the thing is, we don't have elasticity, or we don't have the lack of resources and
No,
all.
no, there are multiple reasons for it. One reason is Diva is a very big customer for Microsoft. I'm sure you agree with this.
Hmm.
In this
Hmm.
whole region, Diva might be the biggest customer. Okay. Now, Microsoft, they'll in order to maintain their customer relations and to have a good relation, they offer bundle packages to the customers, and they might be providing the Azure services at that cost, very cheap, which and no one can ignore. This could be one of the reasons. Understand?
Mm-hmm.
They get Azure services as part of their licensing model, and they might be charged very less for the services running on Azure in the hybrid model. This could be one of the factor. Having a better pricing from Azure from Microsoft for running their services on Azure, or having any specific application which is supported and managed by Microsoft, okay, and build on their own infrastructure. Like for example, AI. There are too many AI applications coming in. So Microsoft might be Azure might be having an infrastructure to support that particular application, whereas other providers might not have it. So those are the factors which wherein business decides, okay, we have Azure, we have so much compute capacity there. We this costs us this much. Why to go with as AWS? Now AWS, they might look into it for a specific reason. For example, we have a particular application which is provided by a third party, and their application is built and designed on AWS platform. So they can't get away with it. You understand what I'm saying? So their
Mhm.
application is running on AWS cloud, AWS platform, and it's fully integrated. Now, if you ask for just for one customer, that particular application vendor might not be replicating the whole setup on Azure. You got my point?
Yes.
Yeah. So those might be the reasons why the organization might go with multi-cloud model.
Yeah, can I add one more? Like Moro is a local vendor and it is managed the local services.
Yes, this is one of
AWS
the
are the
key factors.
main players
The
in
Moro,
the market.
the main advantage of Moro cloud services is that the data residency. The data resides within the UAE data centers.
Hmm.
It doesn't go out of the boundaries. That's one of the reason many government organizations are moving or adopting the Moro cloud services.
Yes.
Okay,
Because
Maksud,
more.
maybe I can add something. So it
Hmm.
basically, Ahmad, it depends on where you are based, because Azure might do good in US, whereas in Asia Pacific, AWS might good. So you need to see the data center location for AWS or
Yes, that
Azure,
also
wherever.
matters. The
Yeah.
location of the
Mhm.
service providers, they might not have their own presence here in this region in order to maintain the data residency regulations, or they might not be, you know, uh, having. What was the other point you said, Asif?
The data center location. I mean, you need
Location.
to
Yes. Yeah.
know where your data center is located, right? Now,
Right.
with the growing AI, every company they want to use the AI landscape for their solution, right? So you need to check like before you implement any of the service, if you need to see that AI landscape is available across your region, if it is coming from Azure, if it is coming from AWS, you need to see the availability of it. So you need to see where your availability zones are. So when you go to Azure side or AWS side, you will get to know the data center location. We got it as the availability zones. So you need to see where they are based. And also I mean, mostly what matters is your customer. So maybe you are based in India, but your customers are in US. So you need to see where your customer based
Exactly.
are.
Exactly.
Based
So
on
that
that,
that also
you need to
matters.
make a call. So when you talk about Moro or Diva, to be specific, like what Maksud Bhai has said, we are using Microsoft Services Bundle. We are using Office and other tools from Microsoft, right? So it makes sense that we go with Azure because we are taking that as a bundle license. When you talk about the license or licensing model, we are taking that as a bundle, right? So it makes sense if we go with Azure because AWS we are not using. So now lately we started using it, but then if you see, you need to see your customers, where your customer base is.
Okay, understood.
Yeah, many factors. So you can probably just do some research on that. So I guess we are good on this models. Let's go back to the slides. So we have covered this. So what I need you to understand is when you talk about deployment models of data centers, deployment models of the clouds, whether it is public cloud, private cloud, hybrid, or multi-cloud, but this is what it explains you everything. Where it is deployed. If it is an on-premises data center and it is serving your own organization with the cloud-like features, then it is called a private cloud. If it is deployed in the by the cloud service provider, open for all the customers, then it is a public cloud. And if an organization goes with certain cloud services is still maintaining their own on-prem data center, it becomes a hybrid cloud. And if there are multiple cloud services involved, then it becomes a multi-cloud. So that's about deployment model. So you need to remember that. So those are the deployment models. Then we have something called service models. We'll not touch base this one right now. We'll just carry on. So this is what I've explained. Pretty much everything what we have gone through on the whiteboard. It's the same thing. What just in bullet points. Organizations create a cloud environment in their data center, responsible for operating and servicing. Okay, they are responsible for all whatever you run, whatever they run in their own data center, owned and operated by organization. Okay, that uses cloud resources, self-service access to compute resources. This is the defining point here. This differentiates between the traditional data center and the private cloud. Why not I call it as a private? Why not I call my data center as a private cloud? If your data center does not have this feature of giving self-service, on-demand compute resources to your business organization, your other organization units in the business, then you might not call it as a private cloud. You might just call it as a data center. So this really differentiates between the data center, traditional data center, and the private cloud. I hope that is clear.
Understood. So this is clear, private and public cloud. So
Mm.
like on-prem and private cloud. So it is
Mm.
interchangeable words or like
On-prem and private cloud, yes, you can call it as it's interchangeable word. It's just a
yes. Hmm.
synonymous.
Okay.
Okay. Deployment models again, carry on with carrying forward with this public cloud. We have already understood what it is. Owned by cloud services or hosting provider, provide resources and services to multiple organization users, access via secure network connection, typically over the internet. Right. This is simply the public cloud, which we have already extensively covered on the whiteboard. And hybrid cloud, uh, just few bullet points on that. What you have the flexibility that you can keep some your data in the private cloud and host only the application component on the cloud, on the public cloud, and have a perfect hybrid model. Okay, then multi-cloud. We have also discussed, and addressed what multi-cloud is and where we might require it. And it is not. I mean, now if you look at all the cloud models, it doesn't fit for every type of business. This might be ideal for large enterprises with diverse workloads and global operations. So not that small and medium business might invest in the multi-cloud environment. And there is at the end one more type of cloud deployment model, which is called sovereign cloud, and this is particularly and specific for specific countries. So it's a cloud environment that ensures data is stored, processed, and managed entirely within the country's borders, complying with local laws and regulations. Understand this? This is not open to the cloud, to the public. This is not open to private organizations. This is particularly for the governments. And when you talk about Azure offers this cloud model in US, China, and EU, what does it mean actually? They are the whole whatever you see on Azure as a open public cloud model, the same software, same application, same environment they built particularly for governments, and it will be only accessible to government organizations. At the back, everything remains same compute, storage, network, whatever basic services you provide as a cloud service provider, you provide the same thing. The only difference here is that it is this type of cloud model is only available within that region, within that country, and for specific government organizations. Is that clear?
I think only the name got changed here, nothing else.
Exactly. I mean, name and physically, they strictly maintain this separate.
Laws.
Yes, physically, it is located in, when you say uh, cloud built for China,
Hmm.
there is a particular data center built for that purpose, for
Okay.
serving Chinese government only, and that data resides in the China within the boundary, within the country itself. It cannot go out.
Okay.
Is that clear? So sitting
Yes.
here in UAE, you would approach Microsoft asking them, I want the sovereign cloud service access to China. Would they give you? They will not give you. It will be out of their jurisdiction. They're not supposed to provide the service to anyone. So The risk of multi-tenancy and having multiple customers on a same platform is avoided here, and the risk of data exfiltration and security and privacy is maintained. Clear? So
Okay.
again, just a high level comparison. You can go through it. I will be
I
sharing
have a
the
small query
yes.
regarding
What
the
is this?
sovereign cloud. Now,
Sorry.
in case I am, I'm hosting, I want to use one of the cloud deployment,
Hmm.
and I'm buying for UAE. Will it be assigned to me in UAE, or should I specifically choose for UAE? How does that work?
No, sovereign cloud. No, depends on which organization you are. If you are a government organization, you are functioning in within that boundary. For example, I'm talking about USA. Let's say Azure Government USA Services. Okay, you're an
Okay.
organization. You're in government organization. You're operating within the boundaries of US United States. Then only you're eligible for taking the service from Azure.
Government.
So it is strictly binded for the government. It's only for the government organizations. If you're a organization in UAE, when you open your account or register on Azure, you won't see this option at all. You don't see that. You will only
Mm-hmm.
see the public cloud locations available to you. Yes, you can host your server in USA, but in the public cloud, not in the sovereign cloud.
Okay, understood.
Yeah, all right,
Understood.
that's good. Okay, so I think we'll stop here. Uh, this is it's enough for today. The next part is again important one, which is understanding the capex, opex, and the service models, the infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. So we'll take up this one in the next session, which hopefully we'll have it on next Saturday, which will be 25th of October. So I hope this was interesting and a good session, and I expect you to be back for the next one. All right, guys. Goodbye for today.
Nice.
Take care.
Thank you so much,
Take care
Maksud
and
Bhai.
have a nice
Thank
day.
Much.
Nice session, and hope we'll join
Thank you,
next
thank you, and
session.
I hope to keep that
Energy, enthusiasm.
motivation, yes, and active and all the time, because I try my best to deliver whatever I teach. I teach from my heart. I'm
Really,
I'm really a person who likes to teach the concepts, not technology, but the concepts. So you should take away that from me.
really
Great.
appreciate.
Okay.
Thank you, Muksud
Have a
bhai.
nice day, guys.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you
Enjoy.
next
Thank
week.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay. See you.
Thank
Bye.
Thank
you.
you,
Thank
guys.
you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you. Bye
everyone.
bye.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I have a final doubt. Is it fine if I can
Yes,
ask it
yes,
now?
yes.
Yes, Sharon,
Sure,
I
sure,
will answer.
definitely.
No problem. You can
No
ask it.
problem. I'm here. I'm here.
Okay.
I will answer it,
You
Muksud.
s-
Yeah, you can
you
answer,
said you
but
can use cloud, private cloud, and on-premises as terms. They both mean the same. Just to clarify mine, I thought
Mhm.
on-premises is where you manage your own infrastructure, and cloud is where someone else manages your
No, even when you call
infrastructure,
it
private cloud.
as a private cloud, you manage your private cloud yourself.
But then on-premises means even the infrastructure is
No,
being managed by me, right?
it's just the term, different term. That's it. That's what I told you here. If you look at here, I'm
Mhm.
just sharing again. I'm just sharing the screen again. So I told you, just you're able to see the screen.
Yes.
Okay, just remove this part. Then your data center, your own on-prem data center becomes your traditional data center, not this private cloud. As I mentioned and emphasized that this really defines whether your data center is called as a traditional on-prem data center or a private cloud.
Okay.
Because in private cloud, what you're doing is you're having your own traditional data center, which you call it as on-prem data center as well. Right? Traditional data center and on-prem data center is the same. There's no difference in that.
Yes, that's understood.
Okay. Yes. So in the private cloud, everything is same as traditional data center and on-prem data center, because organization is responsible for maintaining and everything in that data center. The added advantage when you call it as a private cloud, when you're offering that data center services, compute resources, and the storage to your own organization business units on demand. You got my point. I gave you an example on the
Okay.
whiteboard that you have your business units across the globe. You have different offices, and they don't want to
Mm-hmm.
spend their own on their own IT infrastructure locally. They want to consume the services from your central data center or the on-prem data center. So for that, what you have
Okay.
to do is you have to introduce the components which makes it possible to call it as a data center, private cloud. So you bring in whatever solution it requires. Like for example, VMware is one of the leading virtualization platform and the cloud platform, right? You bring in your
Okay.
own VMware solution. You build your whole portal and everything, which ties down to your resources, and you provide that portal easy access to your organization units, saying that here you go, you have a portal available wherein you can request or access the compute and the storage services on demand and pay for it.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
You got my point, right?
I got it. I got it.
Yes. So that's the only differentiation, nothing else. Otherwise, if you don't have this, then you can't call your data center as a private cloud. It's just a traditional data center and on-prem data center. If you're not providing the services on demand to your customers and you're not able to build them on the consumption of what they're using, so this is where really it defines whether it is a private cloud or not.
Okay. Understood.
Clear? Okay.
Also,
Yeah.
And
I can
I don't
add
see
more.
it's very few. I have in my experience, I've seen hardly few customers, handful of them, who are doing it for their own organization, who are having such a big organization, and they are offering their compute service on demand and charge them based on the consumption. It's very rare. You don't see it.
I've met a lot of on-prem, but I have not heard
Yeah,
this private cloud
on-prem
concept.
is nothing but a traditional data center. That's it. It's not. You
Yes.
cannot call it as a private cloud.
Yeah, I understand.
Right, Asif, you can add on something if you want.
Okay, yeah. So Sharon, data center, you understand data center when we call it on premises, which means it's internally to your company. So when you want to access it from outside, you will connect over VPN, right? So that
Yes.
is traditional on premises services. So when we are talking about public cloud or private cloud, so these data center services we are offering over the internet. Over the internet, we are
Understood.
offering the services, right? So when I say public, which means publicly I'm making my platform available. So I have the data center, like I am the provider for the data center. So when I'm a data center provider, I can give the data center co-location service. So for data center co-location service, I'll give you an example. Like for example, we have SAP. So SAP, they have their own data center in Germany. They're Germany based, right? So tomorrow, if they want to open any service, if they want to start any service in UAE, so they will go to Moro. So they want to host their IT landscape in UAE. So Moro is an option for them. So they will rent out the IT landscape in Moro. So that we are calling it as a data center co-location. So
Okay.
Now Moro is providing data center services, and also Moro is providing cloud services. So now Moro is providing cloud services to Huawei, to company X, to company Y. The government comes in, they say, I want to have a service from Moro wherein I don't want to share compute environment with other companies. Make me a separate environment. So
You're
you
making it
have like
complex,
three,
Asif.
sorry.
You're making it complex.
So
Yes. Let's
so
do
you
one
are
thing.
making, so you
I'll
are having some cabinets wherein you are giving to some private company. So that is a private cloud, complete private. It will be, the resources will not be shared at all.
we'll touch base that again before
Okay.
we start the next session. Uh,
Mm.
and I see someone called Ruhina in our session.
Yes, yes, I
Uh,
have. I sent the invite, Maksud bhai. I
please
wanted to
please
tell you after
ask
the.
all the participants to register. I need their
Yeah.
details.
Mm.
Okay, and if they want to continue, I want them to be registered. Otherwise, I would not entertain anyone without
Yes.
registration, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I just wanted to know if I could use, since it was said both the terms can be used interchangeably, I just want to,
Yeah.
clarify. So in
Yeah.
case I'm using in the future, I don't make a mistake. Thank you.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Maksud bhai. See you next
Okay.
week.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Bye.
Bye bye.